Shalom and welcome back. I'm Lanita, the Scrappy Grandma, and this is the weekly Bible study from the Torah. And together we'll open the scriptures, the Torah, which is just the first 5 books of every Bible, and the prophets. Those, the prophets are in between, and then the Gospels in the end. And we do this every week to stay in step with Yah's rhythm and truth. So this portion is actually a festival portion. We are preparing for the Feast of Trumpets, which comes on Tuesday this week. And so let me share my screen. Let me see here. Hold on. There we go. And I'm going to be reading from a different commentary. Maybe. Where is it? Huh. Okay. And we're going to do this one here. Thank you for your patience. I'm not super quick at the whole technology part, but getting better. Okay. So we're going to do that. And then let's see, none of those are the ones to share. So, that's because I'm not on it. Okay, 1 second. Where did it go? Is that it? Nope. Darn it. Here we go. Okay. Now I can share this one. I'm going to be sharing from the Agape Love code. That is our women's Bible study. And Angelina puts this together every week. And so this is the festival portion, Yom Teruah, Feast of Trumpets. Traditional Judaism has made it into something different, and they call it Rosh Hashanah, which is the head of the year. That's like their biblical New Year, but their actual New Year is in April and March. But so it's a little confusing, and it's tradition. And so I want to go back to the original. The original is Feast of Trumpets, or Yom Teruah, and it's in Leviticus 23:25. And it's a biblical holy day observed on the first day of the 7th Hebrew month, Tishrei. And it's marked by the blowing of the trumpets and the shofar. And let me see here. Well, okay, I have one. I'll show it to you. In fact, we'll blow it before we're done. I'll try to blow it. I'm not great at it yet. Anyway, blowing of the trumpets, and it's a call to repentance, worship, and spiritual awakening. Yom Teruah is also widely known as Rosh Hashanah, meaning head of the year in Hebrew. While scriptures designates this day as the beginning of the 7th month, Jewish tradition celebrates it as the civil new year, a time of reflection, renewal, and preparation for judgment during the 10 days of awe, which end on the Day of Atonement, Yom Kippur, which is next week. The Jubilee year, Yovel, is also deeply connected to the biblical calendar as commanded in Leviticus 25:9 and 10. The Jubilee year is proclaimed with a single loud trumpet blast on the Day of Atonement every 50th year. And the priest would sound the trumpet, marking the beginning of a year of liberty where debts are forgiven, slaves are freed, and land ownership was restored. The Jubilee embodies restoration and freedom. However, according to Jewish tradition, the Jubilee cannot occur unless all 12 tribes of Israel are living in the land of Israel, which has not been the case since ancient times when the 10 tribes were taken into exile and scattered amongst the nations. So this this unfulfilled condition gives the observance a prophetic significance. The Bible foretells that the Messiah, Yeshua, Jesus, will gather all of Israel back to the land, Isaiah 11:12 and Ezekiel 37:21 and 22, and inaugurate a time of perfect restoration. Believers anticipate his return when the final trumpet will sound, Matthew 24:31 and 1 Corinthians 15:52, and true freedom, redemption, and peace will reign. The Feast of Trumpets, or Rosh Hashanah, prophetically points to the ultimate hope, the coming Messiah, messianic kingdom, and God's plan for redemption through Yeshua. Jesus. So that kind of gives us a little bit of background. And so now we're going to go to, and I'll make sure that I'm still sharing. Okay, so this is the screen I'm sharing. So, all right. So it's Genesis 21, 1 through 34. And Yah visited Sarah as he had said, and Yah did for Sarah as he had spoken. So Sarah conceived and bore Abraham a son in his old age at the appointed time of which Elohim had spoken to him. And Abraham called his name, the name of his son who was born to him, whom Sarah bore to him, Yitzhak. And Abraham circumcised his son Yitzhak, which is also in modern translations or English translations as Isaac. And he circumcised his son Yitzhak when he was 8 days old, as Elohim had commanded him. And Abraham was 100 years old when his son Yitzhak was born to him. And Sarah said, Elohim has made me laugh, and everyone who hears it laughs with me. And she would have said to Abraham that Sarah, who would have said to Abraham that Sarah would nurse children, for I have borne him a son in his old age. God protects Hagar and Ishmael. And the child grew and was weaned, and Abraham made a great feast on the day that Yitzhak was weaned. And Sarah saw the son of Hagar, the Mitzrayim, whom she had bore to Abraham, mocking. So she said to Abraham, drive out this female servant and her son, for the son of this female servant shall not inherit with my son Yitzhak. And the matter was very evil in the eyes of Abraham. You know, it was his firstborn, his son. But Elohim said to Abraham, let it not be evil in your eyes because of the boy and because of your female servant. Whatever Sarah has said to you, listen to her voice, for Yitzhak is, your seed is called. And of the son of the female servant, I will also make a nation, because he is your seed. And Abraham rose early in the morning, and he took bread and a skin of water, which he gave to Hagar, putting it on her shoulder, also the boy, and sent her away. And she left and wandered in the wilderness of Beersheba. And the water of the skin was used up, and she placed the boy under one of the shrubs. Now, when they say boy, you know, he's probably about 15 at this point. He's a young man, because I think he was 13 years older than Isaac, and Isaac's now weaned, which is like 2.5 or so years old. So, you know, 13, 14, 15, maybe 16 around. And she went and sat down about a bow shot away, for she said, let me not see the death of the boy. And she sat opposite of him and lifted up her voice and wept. And Elohim heard the voice of the boy, and the messenger of Elohim called to Hagar from the heavens and said to her, what is the matter with you, Hagar? Do not fear, for Elohim has heard the voice of the boy where he is. Arise, lift the boy and hold him with your hand, for I make a great nation of him. And Elohim opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water, and she went and she filled the skin with water and gave the boy a drink. And Elohim was with the boy, and he grew and he dwelt in the wilderness and became an archer. And he dwelt in the wilderness of Paran, and his mother took a wife for him from the land of Mitzrayim, Egypt. And it came to be at that time that Abimelech and Pichol, the commanders of the army, spoke to Abraham, saying, Elohim is with you in all that you do. And now swear to me by Elohim not to be untrue to me, to my offspring, or to my descendants, and do to me according to the loving commitment that I have done to you and to the land which you have dwelt. And Abraham said, I swear. And Abraham reproved Abimelech because of the well of water which Abimelech's servants had seized. And Abimelech said, I do not know who has done this deed, neither did you inform me, nor did I hear it until today. So Abraham took sheep and cattle and gave them to Abimelech, and the two of them made a covenant. And Abraham set 7 ewe lambs of the flock by themselves. And Abimelech asked Abram, what are these 7 ewe lambs which you have set by themselves? And he said, take these 7 ewe lambs from my hand to be my witness, and have that I have dug this well. So he called the place Beersheba, because of the 2 of them swore an oath there. Thus they made a covenant at Beersheba, and Abimelech rose with Pichol, the commander of his army, and they returned to the land of the Philistines. And he planted a tamarisk tree in Beersheba, and there called on the name of Yah, the everlasting El. And Abraham sojourned in the land of the Philistines many days. And you may wonder why this is chosen for the Feast of Trumpets. And so, if I'm not mistaken, I think that Sarah conceived, or that Isaac was born on the Day of Trumpets. I think he was born on the Day of Trumpets. I don't have my, oh well. Okay, and so the next is Genesis 22, 23 through 25. And Abraham took the wood of the ascending offering, and he laid it on Yitzhak, his son, and he took the fire in his hand and a knife, and the 2 of them went together. And Yitzhak spoke to Abraham, his father, and said, my father. And he said, here I am, my son. And he said, see the fire of the wood, but where's the lamb of the ascending offering? And I think this also happened on the Day of Trumpet. And this is when they say that Abraham took his son, and everyone thinks this little toddler, maybe 7-year-old or something, but he's actually a young man also. He's a teenager now at this point as well. He's I don't remember exactly how old, but he's much older. So then next is 1 Samuel, and 1 Samuel 1:1. And there was a certain man of Ramathaim Tisphahim in the mountains of Ephraim, and his name was Elkanah, son of Yeroham, son of Elihu, son of Tohu, son of Suf, and Ephraimite. So he's from the tribe of Ephraim. And he had 2 wives, and the name of one was Hannah, and the name of the other Penina. And Penina had children, but Hannah had no children. Now, this man went up from his city year by year to worship. And to slaughter to Yah of hosts in Shiloh. And the 2 sons of Eli, Hophni, and Phinehas, the priests of Yah, were there. And when the day came for Elkanah to make a slaughtering, he gave portions to Penina, his wife, and to all her sons and daughters. But although he loved Hannah, he gave only 1 portion to Hannah, because Yah had shut up her womb. Moreover, her rival also provoked her greatly and made her irritable, because Yah had shut up her womb. And so he did year by year. Whenever she went up to the house of Yah, she was provoked, so that she wept and did not eat. And her husband Elkanah said to her, Hannah, why do you weep? Why do you not eat? And why is your heart sad? Am I not better to you than 10 sons? And Hannah rose up after eating and drinking in Shiloh, while Eli the priest was sitting on the seat by the doorpost of the Hekel of Yah, the tabernacle. And she was bitter in life and prayed to Yah and wept greatly. And she made a vow and said, O Yah of hosts, if you would indeed look on my affliction of your female servant and remember me, and not forget your female servant, but shall give your female servant a male child, then I shall give him to Yah all the days of his life. Let no razor come upon his head. And I think that means that she's actually vowing him to be a Nazarite vow, which one of the things is they don't cut their hair. And it came to be, as she kept on praying before Yah, that Eli was watching her mouth. And Hannah spoke in her heart, only her lips moved, but her voice was not heard. So Eli thought she was drunk. And Eli said to her, how long are you going to be drunk? Put your wine away from you. And Hannah answered and said, "No, my master, I'm a woman pained in spirit, and I have drunk neither wine nor strong drink, but I have poured out my being before Yahweh. Do not take your female servant for a daughter of Belial, for it is out of my great concern and provocation that I have spoken until now." And Eli answered and said, "Go in peace, and the Elohim of Israel give you your petition which you have asked of him." And she said, "Let your female servant find favor in your eyes." And the woman went away and ate, and her face was no more sad. And then they rose up early in the morning and worshipped before Yah, and returned and came to their house at Ramah. And Elkanah knew Hannah his wife, and Yah remembered her. And it came to be at the turn of days, and Hannah conceived and bore a son, and called his name Shemuel, which is Samuel, because I have asked Yah for him. And the man Elkanah and all of his house went up to slaughter to Yah the yearly slaughtering and his vow. But Hannah did not go up, for she said to her husband, "When the child is weaned, then I shall take him, and he shall appear before Yah and remain forever there." Wow. And her husband, women who couldn't have children had no value. And so, Hannah had no value. And so even just having a child, she was the mother of a child, and even if she's not going to raise him. So, and the husband and her husband Elkanah said to her, "Do what is good in your eyes. Remain until you have weaned him. Only let Yah establish his word." And the woman remained and nursed her son until she had weaned him. And when she had weaned him, she took him up with her, and with 3 bulls, 1 ephah of flour, and a skin of wine, and brought him to the house of Yahweh in Shiloh. And the child was young. It says 1 3-year-old bull, also Genesis 15:9. And they slew a bull, and they brought the child to Eli. And she said, "Oh, my master, as your being lives, my master, I'm the woman who stood by you here praying to Yahweh. And I prayed for this youth, and Yah has granted me what I asked of him. So I have also loaned him to Yahweh all the days that he lives. He shall be loaned to Yahweh." And he worshiped there before Yah. And I, I'm going to have to look it up. In fact, you know what? Here, I'm going to do this. I'm going to pause real quick. Maybe. There we go. Pause. Wanted to get my phone so that I could go over a couple of things. So there's several things that are said to have happened on the Feast of Trumpets. And so I wanted to pull these up. So the Feast of Trumpets is the only feast that starts on a new moon, and a new moon in the Hebrew calendar is the beginning of every month. So both the new moon and Feast of Trumpets are on the same day. And this is where Yeshua, Jesus, was when he was actually quoting, "No man knows the day or the hour." That's why a lot of people believe that Yeshua is going to be coming back on Feast of Trumpets, because that's actually what it says about, because you have to go and look for, and some people say it's the night where there's no moon, and others say where there's a sliver. I don't know either way. And so but you have to look for and you don't know when that day is going to be. You have an idea, but you don't know for sure the day or the hour that Feast of Trumpets is going to be, because so you have to go look for the new moon. So there's a couple of things. And then in here, let's see, it says from the Bible, dated, okay, the feast itself, it's a sacred day of rest, and trumpet blast, shofar blast on the first day of the 7th month. A public reading of the Torah in Jerusalem post-exile. This is after they've come back from being exiled, when Judah came back from being exiled in Babylon. Ezra reads the law to the assembled people the first day of the seventh month, and the leaders tell the people not to mourn but to rejoice. So when they came back, they were in, I don't know how long they were in exile in Babylon, but they had fallen away and lost, a lot of the things, and they had lost the Torah. They had lost there's a lot of their scriptures, and so Ezra, when they came back to the land, they found it, I think, and then Ezra read it to the people, and they're like, oh my gosh, yes, we need to do these, start doing these things again. Kind of what's happening now. The Spirit's going out, and a lot of people are being called into doing things the way they were done originally. So, altar worship restarted after the return of Babylon. Sacrifices resumed from the first day of the seventh month, even before the second temple's foundation was laid. They had an altar and they started the sacrifices up again. Now, this is from Jewish tradition, not dated in scripture, but remembered on this day. Creation and remembrance themes. Many sages hold that the world, or Adam, was created on Feast of Trumpets, and it's treated as a day of God's kingship and remembrance. That's also, the kings were coronated on the Feast of Trumpets. Barrenness turned to life. So this is for Sarah, for Rachel, and for Hannah. All of them were barren, and they were remembered and conceived on, and I don't like calling it Rosh Hashanah, but I can't remember the other one now, so just Feast of Trumpets. Joseph released from prison on Yom Teruah. The Yom Teruah is Feast of Trumpets. So those are just a few of the things that happened. So the next is Matthew 24. Matthew 24, 29 through 36. And immediately after the distress of those days, the sun shall be darkened, and the moon shall not give its light, and the stars shall fall from the heavens. And they've got Isaiah 13:10, Isaiah 24:23, Ezekiel 32, 7 and 8, Joel 2:10, Joel 2:31, Joel 3:15, and the powers of heaven shall be shaken. Haggai 2:6, Haggai 2:21. Footnotes, see also Amos 5:20, Amos 8:9, and also Isaiah 34:4. And the sign of the Son of Man shall appear in the heaven, and all the tribes of the earth shall mourn. And they shall see the Son of Adam coming on the clouds, and of the heavens with power and much esteem. And he shall send messengers with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his chosen ones from the four winds, from one end of the heavens to the other. And learn this parable from the fig tree. When its branches has already become tender and puts forth leaves, you know that summer is near. So you also know, when you see all of these, know that he is near at the door. Truly, I say to you that this generation shall no means pass away until all this takes place. The heaven and the earth shall pass away, but my words shall be by no means pass away. And here it is. But concerning that day, the hour, no one knows, not even the messengers of heaven, but my Father only. And that Mark 13:32. But this is, what's it say here? But concerning that day and the hour, no one knows, not even the messengers in heaven, nor the Son, but only the Father. And that's why it's tied to Yom Teruah, is because nobody knows the day and the hour. We don't know the day and the hour of our Messiah's return, but we can recognize the seasons. We can recognize the signs that are showing us, like the fig tree. When its branches have become tender and put forth leaves, you know that summer is near. So you also will then see these signs and know that he is near at the door. And I do believe that he is near and at the door. And so what's beautiful is every Yom Teruah, and there's a lot of things that go with it. First off, I've been doing a Daniel fast. I'm on day 28, and basically it's just eating vegan and no sugar, no processed foods, just plant-based. And it's a time of disciplining myself, and I'm doing it with a group of other women, and I'm in a fasting group where we do different fasts and pray and fast, and but this is it's called, oh my gosh, the month of Elul. We're in the month of Elul, and then on Tuesday it changes to the first of Tishrei. That's the new month. But the month of Elul is a month of self-examination and repentance and restoration, and getting yourself ready. And then the Day of Trumpets happens, and then that starts the 10 days of awe, which then we move into a liquid fast. And for the 10 days of awe is, so basically the Yom Teruah, the Feast of Trumpets, it's the alarm gets sent out that it's time to get yourself clean. It's time to clean your garments, and so that you can be that pure and spotless bride. So you do major self-examination. You repent, and you fast and you pray, because the trumpet is telling us the king is coming. The king is coming soon, and we very well, it could. So during these times, we're also looking at what's happening and go, he very well could return this year. I don't think it will be this year, but every year we wait with anticipation, and we do the internal work to be that pure, spotless bride. So, okay, then the next one is 1 Corinthians 15:52. There we go. And in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. So this is, what we're waiting for. And so when the trumpet sounds, it is to send out an alarm. It's get ready for the king. The king is coming. Get ready. Go get yourself cleaned up and presentable to become the bride. So I hope that this blessed you. And if it did bless you, I would ask that you would like and share and subscribe so others can walk in the word with us. And hold on here. There we go. We're not reading anymore. So yeah, if this blessed you, please share it. And so others can walk in the word with us, and you can, there'll be some helpful resources down below. If you're interested in joining our women's Bible study, there's a link there, Agape Love Co. We read a portion of the Bible every week, and then on Thursdays we get together on a call online, and we discuss what the Father showed us during that time. So, and then there's also a link to my Amazon storefront that has different things in it. The Bible I read. Angelina's coming out with a new Torah portion journal, and she'll have her originals, but she's also coming out with a new one that's going to actually have commentary and just tons and tons of pages for notes. So I'm excited to get that one. But things like that there. And you can also follow along weekly. She updates and puts out the new Torah portions with videos that you can watch of other people to learn from and everything. So if this is something you're interested in, leave me a comment, let me know. And until next time, may Yah's word guide your steps, and may his peace rest upon you. Be blessed. And pretty sure I'm doing another one tomorrow, because there's a Rosh Hashanah 2 festival portion, and then I'll do the regular, Yah willing, I'll do the regular reading on actual Yom Teruah on Tuesday, and put it out for the rest of the week. Be blessed.